Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about the original. It's episode 322, titled The Bloody Crown, which premiered Friday, May 20, 2016 on the CW. And guys, this is the season 3 finale, and oh my gosh, what a finale it was. My goodness. So, first off, fair warning, I'm trying to still recover from my cold, which includes very bad cough. So if there's any pauses within the audio, that's not me editing, that's just me pausing so I can go cough my lung out. So with that said, let's start with the 10-minute clock and let's begin. So what is something new that we learned in the finale? So basically, Marcel returns as the superior beast, as I'm going to call it, with all of Klaus's sirelings in town coming for revenge. So basically, in this huge gathering, for some reason, all the fights happen at the compound for some reason. But anyways, they're all there because Marcel got the Freya's ownership over the compound revoked at City Hall, kind of like what Elijah did to the Guerrero Wolves back in the Season 2 premiere. But anyways, getting off track. Marcel bites Elijah and Cole during a fight. Freya ends up getting poisoned by one of Klaus's vampire sirelings. And a cursed Rebecca is set free by Haley, in hopes that it would help deter Marcel from killing the rest of the family. Because of Rebecca, though, hold on, my goodness. Okay, because of Rebecca, though, Marcel agrees to put Klaus on trial. And Rebecca is meant to defend Klaus, but the curse takes control of her midway through, and now she turns to be on Marcel's side. In the end, Marcel uses Papa Tunde's knife onto Klaus instead of outright killing him, therefore having his agonizing sleep to courtesy Papa Tunde's knife. Meanwhile, Freya manages to connect all the Michelsons together, like Dahlia did with her, and put them in a deep sleep with Klaus as their anchor. This is done so that it gives Haley enough time to not only protect their bodies, but to try to find 3 different cures needed to save them. Hold on. Yikes. Okay, Haley needs 1 cure for Marcel's bite to save the brothers. She needs a cure to save Freya from her poison, and then she needs another cure for Rebecca and her curse. So there is that. Also, on a side note, Vincent finds himself being furious with how Marcel is dealing with things very similarly to how Klaus did, especially in regards to how Marcel massacred all the members of the Strix, and he just left their bodies there to be found at his fight club at the church. So Vincent is furious, and he takes back the church and declaring it a sanctuary to any species who wants sanctuary from Marcel's reign. So there's that. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode? It definitely has to be Klaus's sacrifice to save his siblings. I was not expecting it whatsoever. Hang on. I needed water. Hold on. Alright, so I wasn't expecting it, but then if you think back on it, Klaus being detained the way he is right now, being bricked up behind while at the mercy of Papa Tunde's knife. If you remember back on episode 322, fittingly enough, back on the Vampire Diaries, Klaus was pretty much in the same boat at the end of the episode. He was pretty much desiccated in a special way, iron chained and locked into a coffin to kind of be rid of him. And so this finale, you kind of see him within the same state. Although he wasn't there for that long, but still, it's not a foreign feeling for him, for sure. And with it being Papa Tunde's knife, the fact that Klaus was willing to go with this sacrifice, though, was definitely surprising, but definitely shows how much he has grown as a character. And it really shows how the events of this season has truly affected him. So, for sure. Moving on to top 3 favorite moments. First one has to be Freya's escape plan to save all of them through the sleeping spell, through the Shambhala, I don't even know how to say it, but it's I'll write it on the screen, but it is this astral plane that allowed them to all stay linked together while still under a deep sleep. So at least the 4 in the coffin aren't alone in this. They can spend their sleeping spell together within this astral plane that she has connected to the sleeping spell. Only thing that would have made it perfect was if she could include Klaus. If she can include Klaus in that spell as well. But he is unfortunately alone, bricked up, and dealing with Papa Tunde's agonizing pain. But what I like about that moment is not only the cleverness behind it, the way she connected all these different spells together to save all of them. That was genius on her part. Also, that scene in general was just beautiful. It was just the setting they were all in, beautiful garden, how she said, this is how I always dreamed of us living together outside this city. It's just a beautiful set for them to live in. I wouldn't mind if I had to be stuck in my own head. I wouldn't mind that kind of a perfect setting. It was just great to see them in light colors, them to able to be a family without any outside influences disrupting that. So that was pretty great. I've actually watched that scene quite a few times, and the fact that it was connected also to Klaus's voiceover letter to Hope, it was a beautiful scene, and I definitely love it. And yeah, I'll probably go watch it again after this, for sure. Another favorite moment for me has to be Klaus's family moments. All of them, for sure. We've got to be fantastic. One moment. All right. All those moments were just fantastic. Klaus's hug with Elijah before he goes to trial was just fantastic. You really see the vulnerability between the two. You really see Elijah giving his little brother what he thinks would be his last advice. So that was just fantastic. You also see Klaus's concern for Rebecca when he sees her curse growing stronger and progressing a lot faster than they had known, and just seeing his concern for her and trying to alleviate her worries through jokes was fantastic, considering he hasn't seen her since Christmas. So it was great to see that, as well as Klaus's moments of apologies and promises to Haley, and how he knows that she will protect Hope with everything, and how he apologized for taking Hope from her. It really shows how far he's come since a year ago, when he basically cursed Haley and the rest of her pack to be wolves. So great progress. It really shows that with each and every one of them, it shows just how much emotion or how much he feels towards these certain people in his life, and it was just fantastic to see, for sure, which probably makes his sacrifice all the more greater, because he's giving up all these things that he cares for to protect them. And then his letter to Hope was just beautiful, for sure. It's just definitely, like, even just hearing those words is just heartbreaking, yet it was something that needed to be said, for sure. Last favorite moment was the fact that Klaus actually manipulated Marcel to give him the punishment that he needed to take. It was clever the way that Klaus did it. In the end, he wanted to get Papa Tunde's knife so that he was alive long enough so that he could become the anchor for his siblings. And then Freya even said, as long as Klaus is alive, they will be asleep, yet still alive. So him taking Papa Tunde's knife is what they ultimately needed for all of them to survive. And I really like that Marcel did what he needed to do. He said what he needed to say in order to get Marcel to give him that punishment. And that's just really fantastic. And then to find out that Rebecca also knew about this, they used her curse to benefit them. So it was just fantastic the way they did that. Moving on to top 3 peeve moments. First one was the fact that Marcel is the superior beast. You still got to fix those fangs because they just annoy me. They look fake, but they're a little bit better than the way that Lucien had them. But I don't like the fact that Marcel is basically stronger than the originals. It's just like how Esther had created Alaric, or evil Alaric, to become a super vampire. But the loophole was that she connected him to a human life, so the fact that Marcel doesn't have that this time, it kind of bugs me. So that's an issue there. And the last peeve moment was the fact that Klaus is not going to be able to see Hope grow up. which was said in his letter, but that's just heartbreaking for me. It's like after all this, he won't even see his little girl grow up. It's sad. And to have him tortured in his punishment without any connection to his family, it's harsh, but it shows how great of a sacrifice he made. So there's that. Moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this finale, it has to be the separation of the Michelson family and how very close to death they were. There's the timer. It's definitely a very close call for all of them, for sure. But moving on, moving on to random questions, and I do have a lot of questions since it is the finale. So, first question, is it safe to assume that Marcel is going to assume that Elijah Cole and Freya are all dead, or would the big giveaway be that Elijah's sire line is still alive? Or is there anyone still in New Orleans that is connected to Elijah's sire line, considering that Marcel killed all the Strix who belonged to it? So there's that. If he thinks they're all dead, it would be one hell of a surprise when he finds out that they're actually alive and they've come back to take away his superior beast status, and that'd be pretty cool. Next question. Back in episode 714 of The Vampire Diaries, the flash forward of that episode was showing of 3 years from then, having Carolyn looking for Klaus, yet no one has seen or heard about him in 3 years. So my question is, do you think that Klaus is still buried behind the brick wall 3 years from his imprisonment? I have a bad feeling that it is, but tell me what you think about that. Next question. Did Freya alter the sleep spell, or will they automatically wake up in 100 years like she used to do with Dahlia? I didn't really hear anything specific about that. I just heard the fact that all their life forces are connected to Klaus's, as he is their anchor. So as long as he's alive, they're still alive, but in the sleep spell. But I'm wondering if that means automatically that if that automatically means that in 100 years they'll automatically wake up or not. So I guess we have to wait about that. And last question. As the anchor, if Klaus wasn't being immobilized by Papa Tunde's knife, would the rest of the Michelsons still be asleep? So as the anchor, as it is right now, Klaus is kind of technically asleep, just in pain because of Papa Tunde's knife. Therefore, the rest of his family are asleep as they are connected to him. So does that mean that if Klaus were awake and walking around the city, would that mean the rest of his family would be awake as well, just having their lives connected to his? I guess that's what my question is, kind of, because back in season 3 on Vampire Diaries, when all the Michelsons were linked together, when one of them was daggered, they all were daggered except for Klaus, because the daggers don't affect him. So I'm wondering if it's kind of the same sense in this situation, or if it's just no matter whether Klaus is alive, or no matter if Klaus is awake or asleep, the rest of his siblings would still be asleep until a certain time. But hopefully someone has an answer for that, or I'm gonna have to go looking for an answer for that. But that's about it. So moving on to predictions, as it is the finale, really, and there is nothing basically telling me what to expect in season 4. It's just whatever happened in this episode is giving me a direction. But keep in mind, season 4 is returning as a mid-season show. So which that means is that we might not see our original family again until maybe January of 2017. That's pretty much where the first hit of mid-season stuff comes in. So with that said, I'm thinking the time jump between now and the season 4 premiere is going to be at least 3 years. It has got to match up so that this episode 401 is happening at the exact same time as episode 801 of The Vampire Diaries. Because right now, as it is, this season finale is happening 3 years sooner than the season 7 finale of The Vampire Diaries, which happens 3 years in the future from this finale, if that makes any sense. So my time jump for the originals has to match up so that the two shows are aligned timeline-wise again. So, with that said, within this time jump, obviously we're going to get Hope being, 5 or 6 years old, roughly? And within this time jump, we're going to maybe see flashes of Haley searching for the 3 different cures that she's going to need, or she's going to make, in those 3 years, or within that time jump, she's going to make some progress and hopefully one or more of the cures. But I think Haley is going to look into the 7 werewolf bloodlines to find a cure for the beast bite that Elijah and Cole are inflicted with. And then Haley is going to have to find a way to find a cure to the poison that was inflicted on Freya. And then she's got to look for a permanent cure to the curse that Rebecca has been inflicted with since Christmas time. So there is quite a bit of stuff that Haley has to look into while taking care of a toddler Hope, while also doing it alone. So she's got quite a bit on her hands, but it'll definitely be an interesting journey just to see who she aligns herself with and just how she deals with the absence of basically the rest of her family as she protects them through a box. So that's about it. So what did you guys think of the finale? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next when it comes to next season? Let me know in the comments below. I love to hear about it, as well as your own thoughts, theories, and predictions about how this whole thing went down. Also, if you want to check out my live journal account for a full recap of the episode, it's in a jot notes form, but it's pretty much a play-by-play of what happened in the episode, as well as my own in-moment thoughts included right in there. So go check that out. The link is down below. As well, don't forget to check out my Tumblr account. Links for those will be down below as well. I usually post promos, web clips, sneak peeks, quotes, GIFs, everything like that at my Tumblr. Check that out. It's a little behind on that right now, but eventually it'll all be up to date. But follow me there if you like. And that's about it. So thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. I'm going to come up with another video for the originals, so stay tuned for that. It's just going to be a video listing the highlights I had for Season 3. So check that out. And or be on the lookout for that, I should say. Hope I'm working on a little surprise for that. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. So this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in, and until then, bye for now.